10 celebrities who literally went from rags to riches. Don't you just love a success story? Even more so when it's the fighter, the underdog, rising to victory amidst adversity and challenges. What celebrities fall into this basket? Welcome to Digital Celeb. In this video, we're going to take a look at 10 celebrities that forged a path of greatness despite their humble beginnings. From drugs, alcohol, violence, and abuse to a place of power, popularity, and plenty of cash. But first, make sure you subscribe to Digital Celeb for your weekly dose of celebrity news, gossip, and entertainment. Number 10. Demi Moore. This sultry cougar is a veteran in Hollywood, but life wasn't always easy for Demi Moore. She grew up in a troubled and impoverished household with 2 alcoholic stepfathers and lived most of her life in trailer parks. She moved out of a house at 16 and by 17 enrolled in her acting class, and today she's worth over $150 million. Number 9. Hilary Swank. Before she was the $1 million baby, she was the very poor, penniless baby. Her dad left when she was young, leaving her mother to care for her and her 2 siblings. They had to live in the car before they could afford an apartment. Luckily, Swank got her big break in the lead role of Boys Don't Cry and is now worth $40 million. Number 8. Leonardo DiCaprio. The talented DiCaprio wasn't always living the glamour life as he portrays in The Wolf of Wall Street. He's now worth over $200 million, but his childhood was more of a sinking Titanic tragedy. He grew up as a very poor youngster in the mean streets of Los Angeles and was surrounded by drugs, prostitutes, and violence. He worked hard to make it as an actor and has never looked back. Number 7. Jim Carrey. Carrey has been making us laugh for years in such comedic classics as Dumb and Dumber and The Mask, but growing up poor was no laughing matter. Things got so bad when his dad lost his job they were forced to live in their van. Carrey had to drop out of school at 15 and work as a security guard and a janitor just to get by. Today he's worth a little over $150 million. Number 6. Sarah Jessica Parker. Carrie Bradshaw wasn't always the famous socialite from Sex and the City. Sarah Jessica Parker and her family actually lived off welfare. Growing up in Nelsonville, Ohio, Parker said her family rarely celebrated Christmas, birthdays, and family occasions because they simply couldn't afford it. Most of the time she lived with no electricity, the phone lines were cut constantly because they couldn't pay the bills. Today Parker's net worth is over $90 million. Number 5. Eminem. Will the real Slim Shady please stand up? He's the most successful white hip-hop rapper of all time and is worth a whopping $225 million. But life for Marshall Mathers wasn't always easy. His father abandoned his family and his mother was addicted to drugs and alcohol. She would leave for days at a time and he endured considerable abuse. He lived in a trailer park, was constantly bullied, and had a very tumultuous relationship with his mother, who he's written multiple songs about. Number 4. J.K. Rowling. What would the world be without Harry Potter? Well, it all started with Joanne Rowling, a single mother struggling to survive on welfare and could barely feed herself. Even though her agent said she'd amount to nothing, she continued to write her manuscripts at coffee shops and kept pursuing her dreams. Once the magic of wizards and witches came to life in her books, she was an instant phenomenon and is now worth $1 billion. Number 3. Dwayne Johnson. He's a world-famous wrestler, actor, and the frontman for the new Jumanji series, but his childhood hit rock bottom when they couldn't afford to eat for Thanksgiving. They got evicted from their home in Hawaii, and his mom even tried to commit suicide. He decided to make a change and leave his football team to pursue professional wrestling and only had $7 to his name. He later went on to name his production company 7 Buck Productions as a tribute to his past, and now worth a cool $280 million. Number 2. Oprah. We all know Oprah as one of the richest African Americans in history, and she has a net worth of over $2.7 billion. But it wasn't always like this for the media mogul. She grew up with her grandmother, but her mother was very unsupportive and her father was beyond strict and hardly around. She wasn't nurtured by anyone except by her grandmother, and they were very poor. Her grandmother was a servant and from a young age instilled in her granddaughter that this will be your future. It didn't sit well with Oprah, and she knew that she wanted more for her life, and so she pursued her dreams of becoming a news anchor woman, and the rest, well, it's history. Number 1. Dolly Parton. Topping our list is the ultimate rags to riches story. Parton describes her childhood as dirt poor. The country girl who shared a one-bedroom backwoods cabin in Tennessee with her 11 siblings, she was as poor as they could come. Her famous song, Coat of Many Colors, was about her mother literally stitching together rags to make Parton's clothes because they couldn't afford new ones. She jokes now and says her famous line, "It costs a lot of money to look this cheap," but she's far from that now with a legendary career that's worth over $500 million. And that's it for 10 celebrity rags to riches stories. What are your favorite success stories? Do you have a time that you managed to overcome adversity to succeed at something? We want to know. Tell us in the comments. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to Digital Celeb. Bye for now.